for a scope of coverage you won't find anywhere else. This is Weather Scope This Morning, sponsored by 100% Colombian Coffee.
This is a special edition of Weather Scope with the latest storm update.
Good Friday morning, everyone. For the Weather Channel Forecast Center, I'm Bruce Edwards, and we continue to watch an unending series of storms that has plagued the winter of 95-96, a winter that many of us will be talking to our kids about and relating years from now about how nasty it was, especially if you live in the Northeast with all the record-setting snowfall amounts. Well, we've got another system moving through the Northeast. We thought it might be a little more upsetting as far as storm systems are concerned, but this one again is just like a little love tap compared to what we've experienced this winter, as we're seeing a little snow and a little bit of rain, also a little bit of freezing rain and sleet, and that could be causing some problems. Right now, located in New York State, up in Westchester County, up the Hudson River Valley, is the Weather Channel's Rick Griffin. And Rick, how is the situation now up there in Armonk, New York?
It is a very snowy spring morning here, Bruce. We are in Armonk, as you mentioned. Where I'm standing, we're about 35 miles northeast of downtown New York City and about 10 miles north of White Plains. The light to moderate, very wet snow continues. Now it's falling on State Route 22 right here, as Randy can show you. And the highway surface is definitely slushy, and with a big snowflakes kind of splashing down onto the highway surface, you can see some accumulation. But I tell you, we have seen numerous snow plows going by, and they're really on top of things here. They've been working throughout the night and so far this morning, and they tell us that most of the major highways are in pretty good shape. Now, the secondary roads vary some in road surface conditions, but overall, as traffic goes by, it seems to be moving pretty well. I can see I-684 down the road about a half mile or so, and traffic seems to be moving at a fairly good clip there, too. Bruce?
Well, Rick, again, we can see the road surface, and it does appear to be getting a bit more slushy, but as you mentioned, so far, no travel problems there. How about the kids now? Are they thinking, well, maybe another snow day, maybe a long weekend coming our way?
I think they've had, obviously, a lot of snow days so far this winter, and what we've heard is that schools are opening late. I don't think we've heard of any cancellations, just delays in opening right here in Westchester County, for instance. Accumulation, again, I should tell you about that. Again, it's slushy on the highway, but on the grassy surfaces over here, I'd say there's a good 4 or 5 inches of accumulation. Very wet, soggy snow, certainly a good snow for making snowballs. It's right around 32 degrees here in Armonk, New York this morning. Back to you.
All right, Rick, thanks very much. Stay out of a snowball fight there. Looks like prime ammunition there for you. We'll check back with you a little bit later on.
Okay.
We've got the snow up there in Westchester County, but most of the eastern seaboard, at least the northeast quarter, including New York City, plain old rain is what we're dealing with. And around the nation's capital, yesterday was a very, very soggy Thursday, and there's still some rain there this morning. Most folks, again, were prepared, had the umbrella and had the raincoat, ready to battle it once again. A little bit of sleet, though, from time to time mixed in, and as you worked into Maryland in the interior sections, they picked up some freezing rain and drizzle, and that caused problems because of ice on the power lines. 28,000 Baltimore Gas and Electric Company customers in central Maryland lost power yesterday, and according to reports, as of 6 a.m., they are still without power. Almost 18,000 folks are still without power because of down power lines due to the freezing rain and drizzle in through central Maryland, and we'll continue to watch that situation. So again, it's not all roses and not all just a light storm. The ice did cause a few problems out there for you this morning. Let's see what else we've got going on across the Northeast. Let's check out some graphics, and as we do so, we'll observe temperatures. And again, they're very critical. In New York City now, in the city, it is 35 degrees and rainy, but it is also very, very windy. While up in Albany, it's 31 degrees, and we're seeing overcast skies. But between Albany and the city, around Poughkeepsie and Newburgh and White Plains and Armonk, as we saw with Rick Griffin, we do have some snow and through the southern Connecticut shoreline around Bridgeport and New Haven. But really, it's probably a little more miserable in the city. It is 35 degrees, but the wind's gusting out of the northeast at about 21 miles per hour with higher gusts, and wind chill values are at about 10 miles per hour. So it's awfully raw, awfully nasty feeling there. Now, the additional snowfall forecast in that sliver across southern New England, extending on towards Cape Cod and again back towards Westchester County and the lower Hudson Valley. We could see another 1 to 3 inches of snow here. And again, it's a heavy, wet snow, slushy snow. So once again, snowball flights will be abounding, I'm sure. and again, they'll be able to plow it off the roads. But you got to be careful out there, especially bridges and overpasses. Those will ice up first, and again, you don't want to be caught unawares as you're traveling in. But I tell you, everyone up through that region of the country has had a terrific experience in driving with the winter weather this year, so this shouldn't present any major problems if you're careful. We'll continue to look at the situation, monitor it for you, and now we go back into the studio. Jim Cantore takes a look and sees and lets us know if March is going to go out like the lion or the proverbial lamb. Jim?
Well, we'll take a look at the nation's capital, and you can make the call, folks. This morning, a little pocket of sleet making its way through southeastern Virginia, or actually northern Virginia, southeast or south of Washington, D.C., and this is going to cause some slippery travel this morning because of the rate it's coming down, so be careful traveling on the roadways right along Interstate 66 south toward Manassas as well. Looks like some problems here developing as the tail end of some energy, which is finally going to kick all this junk out of here, moves on through. There's the high pressure squeezing in behind the storm for this afternoon. There'll still be low clouds, patches of drizzle, light rain, maybe some snow. But again, folks, as Bruce mentioned, and one of the biggest problems with this particular storm has been the freezing drizzle, which has been a problem north of Baltimore up through the Susquehanna Valley, the hills of western Pennsylvania. I mean, Altoona has not been above 32 degrees for the past 24 hours. They've been freezing drizzle, freezing rain, sleet and snow, sleet and freezing rain. I mean, just a miserable mix of precipitation there. Out to the west, our new storm begins to generate here in the plains. This will slowly gather low-level moisture, and voila, we'll break into the showers and storms late tonight across northeast Texas. Here's our mess this morning. Again, freezing drizzle. Again, that pocket of sleet heading south of the nation's capital this morning, and our area of snow, which is mainly affecting Westchester County. We're right there where the wet snow is, but sure enough, there are probably other areas, especially in some of the hills here, from the Poconos through the Hamburg Mountains, across Orange and Rockland County, into the Interstate 84 area around Danbury, that could, have probably 5-6 inches of snow. And that's basically all we're going to see. Other than that, some of the energy will get weakened as it heads toward interior and eastern Connecticut and Rhode Island. So we're really not that concerned in through here. But with the cold air around, still pockets of below freezing air, freezing drizzle, loss of power could still occur in parts of Pennsylvania if it hasn't already. In the south, low clouds, fog, big problem here. It's going to take a while, too, for that to burn off. So that may affect some of the forecast highs that the meteorologists are calling for today in Atlanta. But, the sooner the sun comes out, the better chance we get of getting up near 70 degrees today. But, of course, if it sticks around to 1, 2 o'clock before we get any kind of breaks, it's going to be tough to get out of those 50s and into the low 60s at best. 80s Florida, 80s for the lower Rio Grande, no problems there. Windy conditions, light snow pushing across the high plains here. Grand Forks already with a few inches of snow on the ground. They may add to that again today. And the next push of colder polar air from Canada just sitting here waiting to drop into place for the latter part of the weekend. And you'll see it do so. Here's that pool on Saturday dropping across Chicagoland for Sunday night. Monday, a cool day in Chicago, Cleveland, Indianapolis. And I believe the Yankees are in Cleveland on Monday. And that's going to be a chilly day. No doubt about it. And Bruce just tells me that Manny Ramirez, a New York guy, on the cover of Sports Illustrated this month. That's pretty cool. 60s, 70s, and 80s across the southwest. Showers and storms with our western storm as it lifts on out. Looks like some rain here on Saturday and Sunday, but this all blows through for Monday. Well, I was thinking earlier there may be a little coastal developing here earlier, but that looks like it's just going to get kicked on out. And really we'll start to focus a lot on the northwest because that's where the wet weather will set up probably Sunday afternoon, Monday and Tuesday. San Francisco could be in for a couple of days of wet weather, at least a period of showers moving on through. Well, spring skiing is underway in the Northeast. We'll find out what the latest conditions are for you coming up next.
How many lotions have you tried?
About 1 million.